So today is Freya's mock test. I've actually taught Freya to drive and she's not quite ready to do the real test yet, but she's getting close. If she was to take 10 real tests, I think she would pass 7, which is good. But I know her weaknesses and I've designed this route with those weaknesses in mind, so I understand that it's unlikely she'll pass this test, but it's a good lesson for her and that's a good lesson for you. I've already explained to Freya, but I'm going to explain it to you. Mock tests are a bit different to real tests. During a real test, an examiner will allow a pupil to damage the car. So an examiner will allow the pupil to hit the curb, grind the gears, ride the clutch. They will step in if there's danger. But during a mock test, I'm going to step in if there's danger, but I'll also step in if she's going to hit the curb, or if she grinds the gears, I'll put it to neutral, or if she's riding the clutch, I'm going to say something. If she's resting on the clutch a little bit and just activating the release bearing, I'm not going to say anything. But if she's actually riding the friction plate, I will, just to protect the car. Hitting the curb is not good because it causes a weakness in the tyre, and at speed, that can cause failure, which then can lead to a dangerous incident. So it's best not to hit the curbs. Also, during this mock test, I will be the harshest examiner that I've witnessed. I've sat in on many tests over 15 years, and if Freya can pass a test with me, it's highly unlikely she's going to fail the real test. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'll go and get your examiner. He is not the most polite of examiners, but all my examiners, they all mark the same. There's 1,500 real examiners. That's why they're not all exactly the same, whereas there's only one of me, so I can be the same. Some examiners are more harsh than others, real examiners I'm talking about, and that's because there's so many people, 1,500 people, you can't expect them to all be exactly the same. Even though the DVSA try to keep it that way, I don't think they'll ever truly achieve it. Also, bearing in mind, during the test, you're responsible for things like lights and wipers. As you can see, it's just starting to rain. There's a little bit of help from me.
Yes.
Demisters as well. You can fail the test for not using a demister or not using the wipers. That is your responsibility. I'm going to go and get your examiner.
Perfect.
He'll be with you soon. Hello, I'm Jason. Who are you?
Freya.
Freya, all right. Okay. Would you like me to tell you about the test?
Yes, please.
It's going to take between 38 and 40 minutes. It's going to include one manoeuvre, and maybe it will include the emergency stop. Also, I'll ask you to follow the sat-nav. It's going to take into account various road and traffic conditions, and I'll ask you to follow the road ahead, unless I say left or right. You okay with that?
Yes.
Good. Okay, we're going to start the test with the parallel park. See the black car in front?
Yes.
I want you to pull up alongside it and reverse behind it, stopping within 2 car lengths of that car and fairly close to the curb. Is that all right?
Yes.
Ready when you are. If you notice Freya stretching for the clutch, that's because this car is a little bit too big for her. She has the seat all the way forwards with a cushion behind her. However, she does seem to handle the car just fine. Good observations before moving away. If you're interested in how to parallel park, I'll leave a link to a video in the top right hand corner of your screen. A good start position for the method she is going to use, which is level with the car and about the same distance she would find herself from that car if she was parking in a car park. Steering the wrong way when parallel parking is very common for learner drivers. It's because she's thinking about where the front of the car is going to go instead of the back of the car. However, she realises her mistake and corrects it. She can see the Mini coming, yet she's still moving the nose of the car into the path of the Mini. However, she doesn't do it enough for it to be a problem. This is not enough angle to get near the curb while still being close to the parked car she's reversing around. However, on the driving test, you need to stop within 2 car lengths of the other parked car, which is plenty, and even with this small angle, she should still be fine, but probably only just. She's steering the wrong way again, but she notices it and corrects it. However, she hasn't reversed back close enough to the curb, so she will be far away. She's maintained good observation so far, and she noticed the cyclist that passed earlier. She straightens the wheel too late, meaning the back of the car continues back out into the road and the rear of the car finishes over half a metre from the curb. So this would be a serious mark for reverse park road control and therefore a driving test fail. You finished?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I'm going to reset the cameras so we've got a long run at it.
Yeah.
When I pretend to be an examiner, I try to put on a bit of a character. I have different characters. They're not necessarily representing any real examiners I know. I'm just actually trying to make it, if anything, possibly a little bit harder for you sometimes.
Yeah.
Just want to prepare you, because not all of them are the happiest.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say any of them are really anything like what I am.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll turn these off and start them again. Part 2 of Freya's test. Okay, I'll go back into character. Okay, I'd like you to follow the sat nav. So, here we go. Move away when you're ready. And at the end of the road, you're turning left and follow the sat nav. Her observations when moving away are consistently good. They're continuous and up to date. No robotic 6-point check here. Good speed, control and observations at this closed junction. I'll fast forward the parts of the test where not a lot happens.
In 200 yards, turn right onto Lexden Road, A1124.
She keeps a good distance from the parked cars and doesn't break the 20 mph speed limit.
Take the next right onto Lexden Road, A1124.
She is checking her mirrors before changing direction, for example after coming back to the left after passing the parked vehicles, and she is following the mirror signal manoeuvre routine at junctions. Another junction with good speed, position, control and observations.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Balkern Hill, A134.
She checks her mirror, signals and chooses the correct lane at the roundabout. However, her signal cancels and she doesn't reapply it until it's too late, so this would likely be a minor driving fault for signals necessary.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Westway, A134.
This is a 40 road and she's only reached about 30 miles per hour and there was no reason to drive slowly. So this would likely be a minor mark for appropriate speed.
Exit the roundabout onto Westway. In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Colnbank Avenue, A133.
So the sat-nav has told her she needs to take the third exit at the roundabout and the sat-nav is showing her she needs to turn right. Will she get the right lane? She's still in the wrong lane. What is she going to do? Notice how I check that it's safe just in case she goes the wrong way in this lane. If it's not safe, I will intervene. I allowed her to go the wrong way in this lane as I could see on this occasion it wasn't going to cause any danger. If she would have realised her mistake and corrected it by signalling and changing lane early enough, then this would have been fine. But as she sailed around the roundabout in the wrong lane without being aware of how she may be causing danger, this is a serious mark for response to road markings.
Exit the roundabout onto Colnbank Avenue. In 300 yards, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Cowdray Avenue, A133.
The sat-nav has told her to take the first exit, and according to the sign, the first available exit is 12 o'clock. So, if she was following the 12 o'clock rule of thumb, she would be using the left lane now. If she ignores the 12 o'clock rule on roundabouts, she's going to find herself in the wrong lane very often.
Exit the roundabout onto Cowdray Avenue.
Fortunately, there are two lanes on the exit of the roundabout that merge at the pedestrian crossing. If there was only one lane at the exit of this roundabout, she would not be able to leave because there's a car on her left. This is why it's important to follow the 12 o'clock rule of thumb at roundabouts unless signs or road markings indicate otherwise.
In a quarter of a mile, your destination will be on the left.
If you'd like to watch a video about roundabouts and what lane you should use, I'll leave a link to a video in the top right hand corner of your screen.
The destination is just a way marker.
Okay.
Continue following the road ahead.
The right lane is merging with our lane. This would be a good time for her to check her right mirror to see if anyone's trying to pass at the last moment.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto St Andrews Avenue, A133.
So the second exit is ahead on the roundabout sign, so the safe bet would be to follow the 12 o'clock rule of thumb and approach the roundabout in the left lane unless signs or road markings indicate otherwise. She does this on this occasion. It's good that she holds back until she is sure she can pass the pedestrian crossing so that she doesn't risk stopping on it. It's great to see her keeping the car within the lane on this roundabout. Not many drivers have good lane discipline here.
Exit the roundabout onto St Andrews Avenue. In 300 yards, at the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue, A133.
Again, the sat-nav is asking her to take the second exit, which on the sign is not past 12 o'clock. So using the 12 o'clock rule of thumb, that means it's best to approach this roundabout in the left lane. She can actually use both lanes to go ahead at this roundabout, but unless she knew the area, she is unlikely to know that unless signs and road markings indicate otherwise. It's good to see that she checks her right mirror before this left lane merges with the lane on the right.
Exit the roundabout onto St Andrews Avenue. Continue on St Andrews Avenue for half a mile.
So what would you normally be doing today?
Going to work.
I decided to skip that little bit of the road because Freya told us where she worked, and I don't think I should be sharing that. However, she did well on this road. She made the most of the 40 mph speed limit whilst maintaining a good position, and now the sat-nav is showing her that she needs to go right ahead right at the 3 mini roundabouts she is approaching.
In 50 yards, at Greenstead Roundabout, take the first exit and stay on St Andrews Avenue, A133.
She navigates these mini roundabouts using the correct lane and she does it safely.
In 50 yards, at Greenstead roundabout, take the second exit onto Colne Causeway, Elmstead Road. In 100 yards, at the roundabout, continue straight onto Eastern Approach, A134. In 300 yards, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Colne Causeway, A134.
She did those roundabouts safely and I felt comfortable. However, at the next roundabout, the sat-nav is telling her to take the second exit, and on the sat-nav screen, that exit looks past 12 o'clock, but from the sign, it says it is 12 o'clock, so she should be using the left lane to take the second exit at this roundabout. When you're following a sat-nav, if the road signs and the sat-nav contradict each other, I recommend going with the road signs for lane choice. So at this point, she looks like she is going right at this roundabout. She's in the right lane and she is signalling right. Vehicles waiting to enter the roundabout will be waiting for her. She should be in the left lane as the white car is. However, this wouldn't actually happen on a driving test, because if I was a proper examiner, I would have seen that the sat-nav is contradicting the sign and I would have intervened verbally and told her where to go. So it's unlikely she would have been in this right lane while she was going ahead. Therefore, I'm not going to count this as a serious.
In 200 yards, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Hythe Quay, A134.
She hesitated slightly at those traffic lights. If she was already prepared as she was approaching them and decided when to commit, she wouldn't have had to question what to do when they went amber.
In 150 yards, you will arrive at your destination.
So continue ahead, please. Cough, I'm Jason, aren't I? I'm not supposed to say
You have
please.
arrived.
P's and Q's. It's a mini roundabout, you're going left. Sat-nav didn't say anything, so I thought I'd help.
In 150 yards, at the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on Magdalen Road, A134. In 50 yards, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Hythe Hill, A134. In a quarter of a mile, turn left onto Port Lane.
Another 3 mini roundabouts done safely.
Pull over on the left after this grey car. Okay, we'll reset the cameras again because there's a 30-minute time limit and we're getting not there yet, but we might not be able to stop for a while.
Yeah.
So, part 3 of Freya's test. That's the end of the sat-nav. I'll give you directions from here. So follow the road ahead, unless I say left or right. Okay? Move away when you're ready.
I'm going to fast forward more of the test now because I realise we're already at 20 minutes, so I'll try and skip to the bits where things actually happen. Good idea to do a handbrake start as we are on a slight hill. I'm pleased to see her giving way to the oncoming car that is committed to passing the parked cars.
End of road, right.
Good mirrors before changing her position, and also it's good that she got back to the left side of the road before she got to the end of the road, allowing space for others to enter this road. However, she does hit this speed bump a little hard, causing something in the boot to jump, but it's not bad enough to likely be marked on the driving test. I like how she moves back to the left side of the road before the white car to see if anybody's coming before she commits to passing the white car. However, she did not check her centre and left mirror before moving to the left. This may be a minor mark for mirrors change of direction on the driving test. It's good to see that she is slowing down as she is getting closer to the parked vehicles due to the oncoming vehicles. She should be driving in a manner that if a door was to suddenly open, she is prepared. It's also good to see that when there is space, she moves away from the parked vehicles and speeds up again.
Pull over on the left, please, just after these two cars. Don't worry about the yellow lines on this occasion.
It's not uncommon for your examiner to ask you to briefly stop on some yellow lines. Freya needs to do the hill start. There's not many hills on this route. There's yellow lines here, but it's okay to stop briefly on them to do the hill start.
Move away when you're ready.
Good observations, but she does roll back slightly. Not bad enough for it to be a fail, but this would likely be a minor mark for move off safety. She needed to get the clutch bite point before the handbrake was released on this hill.
Pull over on the left after the white car.
During your test, you'll be asked to pull over at the side of the road several times. One for the hill start, one for the angle start. Also, they like to do it in traffic and some other occasions. This is all part of testing you to see how safe you are.
Move away when you're ready.
Unfortunately, she stopped partially blocking someone's drive, so this will very likely be a minor mark on the driving test for position normal stops. You can't see it very well on camera, but a van swung across the road behind us, blocking traffic from coming. This was a good opportunity for her to go.
Pull over on the left in a safe place. I'm going to ask you to do the emergency stop. My signal for stop will be I'll put my hand out and say stop. I may look behind and make sure it's safe. Please don't do the stop unless I put my hand out and say stop. And drive normally until I tell you to do that. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. Stop. I won't ask you to do that again. Move away when you're ready.
Good reaction and good pressure on the brake. This was downhill, the ABS cut in and we stopped quickly. She did release the brake before applying the handbrake, however, she released the brake after I told her to go. And she had good observations before she moved away. This would be a pass. Let's see if she notices the 20 mph limit. It appears she has.
End of road right.
She does well to avoid the bus and she notices the car on her left is giving way to her when she gets to the end of the road. Now it's time for the angle start.
Pull over at the side of the road before the grey car. Stop within a car length of that grey car. Stop about a car length from the grey car. So keep going forwards. Keep going. Don't worry about the driveway. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. This is a bit less than the car length. You stop just after I said stop. Nevertheless, move away when you're ready.
This is to test that she can move around an object in front of her safely. She steered before moving, which is frowned upon and known as dry steering, but it is acceptable on the driving test, and she was quite close to the car in front, closer than she would normally be for this exercise. She did that safely with good control.
Just after this road on the left, pull over on the left. Alright, we'll reset the cameras again, only 15 minutes, but this should take us to the end, hopefully.
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
It's probably the worst driving that I've ever done in my life.
Or even when you first started learning?
Do you know what? Probably. The pressure just got to me. I've cracked. Oh, God.
You're getting better as you're going on.
Mm.
And that's the whole point in this. It's to try and get you used to that pressure.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got more pressure, the real driving test should feel easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's reset these cameras. Part 4 of Freya's test. I think it's part 4. Was it part 3? I'll figure it out in the edit. Anyway, I'll go back to being Jason. Okay, all rolling. Yep. Move away when you're ready. Next road left.
It's now time for some country roads with a speed limit of 60 miles per hour. She needs to maintain a good position, be aware of any narrowings in the road in case she needs to wait for oncoming vehicles, and also she shouldn't go slower than she needs to be safe. The speed limit is 60, it's not a target, but she shouldn't be going way slower than necessary. This seems like an appropriate speed for this bend. She needs to be at a speed where she can stop within the distance she can see to be clear. Bear in mind that the camera makes things look twice as far ahead than they actually are. She appears to be speeding up on the straights and slowing down on the bends, which is a good sign she is reading the road and trying to make the most of it. I don't expect her to be driving as fast as a seasoned driver, nor how fast I would like to go. But I need to see that she is responding to the road appropriately, she is safe, and she is driving at a reasonable speed for the view and conditions. The 60 miles per hour speed limit on these back roads is one of the few freedoms we have left on the roads. Use them sensibly to avoid harsh speed limits becoming even more widespread. It's good that she slowed down before going through a deep puddle. In fact, she slowed down to the point where she avoided the puddle entirely because the oncoming car had passed before she got there.
Can you clean the front window?
Yes, I thought it.
Her speed on this back road has definitely been good enough for the test standard.
End of road right.
Many new drivers find this junction on a hill challenging. She managed it well without rolling back. I had to take the wheel because I was afraid she might hit the curb.
We're going to hit the curb there, so I just took the wheel. On a real test, if you'd have hit it, it would be obviously a problem.
Yes.
On this test, we would have never known because we assume it's a problem. That was too close. I can't wait for you to actually hit it to take the wheel. Anyway, back to being Jason.
If this was a real test, she may or may not have hit the curb. I'm not prepared to take the risk. It was too close for me to allow her to get any closer. If she did hit the curb, it would be a serious mark for position normal driving. For the purpose of this mock test, it was close enough that I'm going to call it a serious fault and work on this with her in future lessons.
Pull over on the left. Something's been bugging me. I've been thinking I forgot something, and I did. Tell me how you check your head restraints correctly adjusted.
You make sure that your it matches ear level, like the middle of the head restraint matches ear level.
Move away when you're ready.
She deals with this pedestrian safely. She passes them at a safe speed and distance. She takes this bend at a safe speed, but on the long straight she doesn't go much more than 30 miles an hour and she has a good view with no one coming. I don't think she's going slow enough for it to be marked on test, but she could go a bit faster on this straight and then slow down again for the bend.
End of road right.
I'm not sure what the speed limit on this road is, so I haven't seen a sign.
Do what you normally do. If you couldn't hear Freya, she said she's not sure what the speed limit is.
Freya does not know what the speed limit is and she's going very slow for this kind of road that has a 60 mph speed limit. However, she may get away with this because it is only for a short period of time before she reaches the 40. But she should not be telling her driving examiner she does not know what the speed limit is, because you should be aware of the speed limit for the road that you're on. Many learner drivers miss the next mini roundabout because they're focusing on the zebra crossing just before it. However, Freya deals with all 3 mini roundabouts on this road safely. In fact, she's dealt with all of the mini roundabouts on this test safely. So I would say she is definitely ready when it comes to mini roundabouts.
Mini roundabout left. End of road right.
The bus starts to signal now when Freya has already started to steer and commit to passing it. She should continue, but she almost stops next to the bus, which shows she is not planning and instead reacting. As she kept the car moving, I think it's unlikely this would be a serious mark on a real test, but certainly a stern minor. A stern minor is like, you can do it once, but if you did it again, it would definitely be a serious. I will mark it as a serious for planning and awareness to play it safe, and I'll try and help her with this.
Engine off. That's the end of the test. Okay, I'm sorry to say you passed. No, what am I talking about?
Oh gosh.
I didn't mean to say passed. I meant to say failed.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why I said that. Anyway, obviously out of character now. I messed it up at the end, didn't I? I'll turn the cameras off and restart them and do the debrief. Yeah, unfortunately you did fail.
Yeah, multiple times. I think I failed at the very beginning and then failed again with the roundabout when I was in the wrong lane.
Anyway, we'll turn the cameras off and we'll go through that. Debrief of Freya's test. Now I've actually already gone through a detailed debrief with Freya and I filmed it, but I decided not to include it because it was 15 minutes long and you've already heard it all because you've seen the commentary. So I just summarise. There was, the serious points was the parallel park.
Yeah.
Too far away from the curb, wasn't it? What else was there?
The 2 roundabouts in the wrong lanes.
Yeah, so you went right in the middle lane.
Yeah.
Nothing to say you could do that there. I didn't tell you to do that. On your driving test, if it's different to normal, the lane choice is different to normal, the examiner will usually say something like, the roundabout you're going right, third exit, but on this occasion you'll find it easier to use the middle lane. If you're not told that, you should follow the road signs and markings, and if there's no road signs and markings to tell you which lane you need, you should use the 12 o'clock rule, which is on the sign, up to and including 12 o'clock the left lane and past 12 o'clock the right lane. If there's 3 lanes, usually it's the middle lane to go ahead, and the left lane for left and the right lane for right. And that's why that second roundabout, where you use the right lane to go straight and you're indicating right, it's because on the sat nav it looked like it's to the right.
Yeah.
And in reality, it is slightly to the right, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the sign says it's ahead. So you're telling people you're going right, you look like you're going right, and then you leave
Yeah.
without much warning there.
Yeah.
What else was there?
The speed on the country when I didn't know the speed.
And this is what surprised me because your speed was actually good. One of your weaknesses is lack of speed on out-of-town roads. We've been practicing it. You're much
Yeah.
better. And I thought, actually, pretty good today. I think if you would have known that that was a 60 road,
Yeah.
you would have gone fast enough and you wouldn't have got that serious. How can you know that that's a 60 road?
We were on a 60 before and there was no speed changes and there was no lamp posts either.
Yeah, so no speed changes, no
No.
lamppost, then it's a national. If it's not a national, there should be reminders to tell you it's a different speed. And I think there's one more, isn't there, that would be a serious mark.
The bus.
Yeah. I'm conflicted if that would be a serious. It's quite bad. It probably is. A bit. You're passing the bus and then you suddenly come to pretty much a standstill for no reason.
Yeah.
You have to, once you decide to commit, you've got to continue through. You can't then stop
once you're already passing the bus.
Yeah.
But we know what to focus on now. Country roads are better than I expected, so work on that has improved. Parallel park is your weakest one.
Yeah.
She's brilliant at bay parking, really good, because she does it at the end of every lesson, and where she has to park in a bay isn't easy where she lives, and now I'm confident she can reverse between anything if it's big enough for this car. But we haven't done much on parallel parking, which is why I chose it for your
Yeah.
test. Where do you go wrong with parallel parking? What is it you do wrong all the time?
Steer the wrong way.
Why do you steer the wrong way?
Because I steer the front of the car.
You're going backwards, you want the back to go near the curb, steer the car towards the curb. What you're thinking is, I want the nose to swing out, because
Yeah.
you're steering the front out. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's lots of little points. You've seen the commentary. I've gone over it. Took 15 minutes in detail with Freya. So I end the video here. If you're looking for car insurance, check out links to Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, then Collingwood are there for you, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, I recommend checking out the link to confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes to compare who's cheapest. And you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like. Car insurance at the moment is very expensive, particularly for young drivers, and which car you choose makes a difference. So with confused.com, you can fill out one quote form and then keep changing the car to see which car gives you the best price. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.